What's up guys and welcome to another League SBC video. Finally, EA has released new League SBCs. Finally, we were prepared for both of them, and finally, it's also a big league that we were prepared for. So last time EA released the Liga BBVA, we were not prepared for that one on purpose because I think it was too expensive up front, but we did prepare for the Calcio A. Indeed, EA yesterday released the Calcio A League SBC. They also released the J1 League, the Japanese league, so we'll do that in a little bit, but obviously the big one is the Calcio A. As you can see right here, Higuain, 91 rated striker card, 82 pace, 93 shooting, dribbling is also pretty decent, physical as well, obviously a pretty sick card. I'm not using a Calcio A squad, but obviously Higuain will be a decent, actually a perfect super sub for any team that you can imagine. We also get 25,000 coins on top, plus obviously, as you can see right here, there's 20 challenges in that league, so also we get 20 packs to open, and there's a bunch of nice cards out there at the moment. Still the international man of the matches, a nice team of the week with Lewandowski obviously as the best card. But obviously we want that Higuain card. So without further ado, let's jump right into the League SBC and complete all the teams. As I said before, I was prepared. I did invest pretty much before Christmas in most of the cards. I did a little bit investing in the last couple of weeks because obviously you need one or two cards for the weekly squad building challenges for the marquee matchups. But I was prepared for most of the cards. I had to buy one single card to complete all the teams today. The first team is Atalanta, and in general, all the requirements are pretty easy. There's no special requirements in terms of nations, in terms of like gold, bronze, silver cards. There's basically just rating and chemistry as the only requirements, plus obviously 11 cards from that particular team. And also the big teams, the Juventus, Napoli, Milan, Inter, all the other teams, they don't have pretty high rating requirements, to be honest. Especially if you compare to the Liga BBVA one, where I think Real Madrid had 87 rating requirement, and these clubs here, they have pretty decent requirements, so you can do it without a lot of investments. Obviously, the price did increase a little bit today and yesterday already when the news leaked. But if you wait a little bit, it shouldn't be too expensive, at least compared to the Liga BBVA one. As I said, Atlanta, a pretty easy team to complete. 73 rating requirement, 95 chemistry. As you can see, I did most of the team with silvers. Only a couple of golds to get the rating up, but that should be enough to get that challenge completed. We get a jumbo premium gold pack for that team. And let's move on to Bologna, the second team. In this case, again, two simple requirements, 74 rating in this case, but again, most of the team, or basically half of the team, is a silver team. The rest is gold to get the rating above the 74 mark, or actually right on the 74 mark. Chemistry also not an issue. And with actually 95 rating requirements, you have one position that you can use, basically a joker card. As you can see in the previous team, I used a goalkeeper, I think, as a right winger. Doesn't matter because the other players were in position, so you have one joker card per team. You also have one joker card in this team. As you can see, I play a goalkeeper in center mid because all the other players are in position. Cagliari, that team is. We get one premium gold pack for this one. 72 rating requirement, we had 73, not too bad. 95 chemistry, also not an issue. Let's cash that in. We also get a few coins, which is not too bad. Obviously, it doesn't make a big difference, but I'll take it anyway. Chievo Verona, the next team, in this case, 74 rating requirement, which we also, again, can do with 4 silvers, 6 golds, and 1 bronze card, actually. And again, chemistry is pretty... the chemistry requirement is pretty good to work with. So that's 4 done out of 20, I think, in that league. Let's go to Crotone. Crotone is one of the team where the players are price fixed at the moment, especially the silvers. We need a 68 rated squad. And as you can see, only bronzes and silvers. I'm not sure if there is any gold player for that team. But if you have a lot of silver players or a decent amount of silver players from that team, you should be fine. You can use some bronzes and still manage to get the 68 rating requirement done. Again, no special requirements in any of these clubs. We had a premium silver players pack for this one. So in general, the challenges are pretty easy to complete as long as you have a lot of players from each team. Next up is Empoli, 72 rating requirement. We get 72 perfectly, and again, as you can see, the chemistry is not an issue. The formations that EA use for these challenges are pretty good to work with. A lot of 3 striker formations, to be honest, but as you can use right mids and left mids as the wingers, it doesn't really make a difference. In this case, it's a 3-5-2 for Fiorentina. One of the higher rated squads that you need to submit. 76 rating is required. We get a 78 one. Doesn't really matter. As I said, I'm not using a Calcio A squad anyway, so I'm fine with getting rid of players that I might have that have a higher rating than is required. 3 silvers, the rest of them gold, and we get the premium gold players pack. So obviously after we've done all the challenges, got the Higuain card, we can also open 20 packs. Genoa, the next team, and there's one player I had to buy for completing that team. It's that guy, the left mid that I use as a left winger, Diego Laxalt, the Uruguayan player. Was needed because I didn't have any left mid or left winger. I had 2 right mids, one of them I play on the left side, and I already used a joker card for the right winger, so I definitely had to use a left winger or left mid to get the required chemistry. 73 rating requirement, we had 75, doesn't really matter, I'm not using Calcio A players anyway, so let's submit that and collect a jumbo premium gold pack. A lot of packs to go through afterwards, but now we have Juventus, we have Lazio, Milan, and obviously Roma and Napoli later. Inter, I did have Handanovic. I pulled him last week or 2 weeks ago, so I did have basically a rating joker in the club, but I didn't have to use him. 79 rating requirement for that particular team, which we managed perfectly. And again, we can play Biabiani totally out of position and still manage to get 96 chemistry for that 95 requirement. All the other players more or less in position, so you should be fine. I also used a position change on that striker. He's usually a striker. I converted him to a center forward, which is fine for a chem position. So we are perfect with the chemistry. As this is one of the better teams to submit, we get basically a better requirement as well. We get 1,000 coins. Again, doesn't really make a difference, but we get a premium gold players pack. And also, as you can see, for the Juventus and the Napoli teams, there's also prime gold players packs out there. So Juventus, obviously the big team to submit. As you can see, I do use an inform in this team. The rating requirement is 82. There's some high rated players that I need to submit. Obviously that guy, Dani Alves, the big one in terms of rating, 85 rated player. And that center back as well. I do also have him as the non-inform version, not down here, but I do have him in the club. But as he is an 83 rated version, I think 77 or something around that rating is his usual card. I wouldn't have made the rating requirement. And as you can see, I have only 96 chemistry, so I couldn't use any other players, higher rated players out of position anymore, and still managed to get the overall requirements done. I'm totally fine with submitting this team. Obviously, it was nice to get away without submitting any of the super high rated players like the Higuains, the Dybalas, the defenders. Obviously, there's the Chiellinis. You don't need these players, which is pretty surprising, especially if you compare to the Real Madrid squad, which has a super high rating requirement. Juventus does not have this requirement. 82 rated, 95 chemistry, totally fine. If you have a bunch of 83 rated players, then you can also get away with using some non-rares or some like decent midfielders, as in this case, Hernanes and is that Azamor? It is Azamor. 80 rated players are perfectly fine in this particular scenario. Let's submit this and we get a prime gold players pack, obviously one of the better packs, 12 players, 12 golds, 6 of them being rare. So let's hope we can pull a decent player out of that pack and move on to Lazio. Also one of the top 5 teams, I would say, in terms of the rewards. We get a premium gold players pack again for this one. And as you can see, 76 rating requirement. I can use a bunch of silvers. Most of the team is gold though. But in general, pretty straightforward to do this particular challenge. Let's submit this one. As you can see, I use another joker card as a right winger, totally out of position, but most of the teams, I'm pretty sure all of them, have the 95 chemistry requirement, so pretty easy to work with, position-wise. Milan, the next team, obviously a team that has somewhat decreased in success over the past couple of years, so the requirements are also not that hard. 77 rating requirement, 95 chemistry, not a problem at all. I'm actually not using any joker cards here. I have 100 chemistry. Perfectly fine with submitting this team though. And as you can see, you don't need any high rated players as long as the majority of your team is around that 78, 79 rated level. You can also use a bunch of silvers and still be fine without submitting any of the Bakas, for instance, 84 rated striker. You don't need to submit him. Doesn't matter. The team is totally fine without him. We get a prime goal players pack again for this team. Pretty surprising compared to the Juventus reward, which is the same, but a totally different squad in terms of rating. Anyway, Napoli, the next one, probably the second best team currently in the Calcio A. 79 rating requirement for this one. Again, pretty surprising given that there's a bunch of players in this team that have in the mid 80s. The Mertens, the Insignes, all these players, you don't need these. Pretty surprising how low the requirements are for this league SBC in general. As you can see, I again get away with using 2 silvers, one again being a joker card, totally out of position, the rest more or less in position, so we get 100 chemistry, 79 rated team, which is exactly what we need for another rare gold pack in this case, and 2,000 extra coins. So obviously take these coins as well, and I'm looking forward to the packs afterwards. We have a bunch of teams to go through. The next one is Palermo, 71 rating requirement, so you can use a lot of silvers, a lot of bronzes. I only need 3 gold players to get the required rating. Let's submit this quickly for a premium gold pack, 7.5k pack that is, and move on to, I guess we have 6 more left. Yes, indeed. Pescara is the next one. Again, one of the teams that might be price fixed at the moment. As you can see, a lot of silvers here in that team for a 70 rating requirement. I use a couple of goals. I do have a team that is higher in terms of the rating than required, but I'm fine with that team. Especially the gold players are cheaper than most of the silver players, so feel free to submit a team that is actually higher rated than the one that you need. As long as it's cheaper, it's obviously better for you. Let's submit that one, and this is one of the rare SBCs where we get a silver pack, a premium silver players pack though. Obviously also a nice pack where you can pull some decent silver players that are currently in demand. Roma is probably the last big team that we have to submit. 79 rating requirement. We get 80, so it doesn't really matter. And again, you can get away without using any of the superstar players in this team. Most of them are around the 80 mark. Basically, the core of the midfield makes up my team, and the rest is just a bunch of fillers. 1 silver player in the team. Doesn't matter. Rating is perfectly fine. Let's submit this for a mega pack. Obviously one of the better packs as well in this squad building challenge, and we have 4 more teams to go through. Sampdoria is the next one, the second team from Genoa, and as you can see, the entire backline is silver. 1 bronze player. Shouldn't be too difficult to get that team to a 73 rating. We get 74 usually predominantly because of my forwards. They definitely pull up the rating in the mid 70s. We get a jumbo premium gold pack for this team, and we have 3 more left, and then we get that Higuain card. Sassuolo, one of the remaining teams, obviously a team that was promoted a couple of years ago and actually has played in the European in the Europa League this season, or at least last season, I think. One of the 2 seasons, definitely. So one of the recent teams in Italy that improved in terms of success. As you can see, the core is gold. I have a bunch of silvers and bronzes on the outside. Perfectly fine. 73 rating requirement. We had 76. Doesn't matter. I don't need these players anyway, and I want that Higuain card. We get a rare gold pack as a reward. Definitely take that. Interesting to see what's in that pack later. And we have 2 more to go. Torino, obviously Joe Hart in gold to get the rating up, and we have a couple of other medium gold players in there to get it to a 77. We do need 76, so obviously everything is fine. We also get 100 chemistry because we don't need a joker card in here. We had all the players basically more or less in position. Let's submit this for a jumbo premium gold pack and then move on to the last team before we can get our hands on that Higuain card. 91 rated player, League SBC player for not a lot of investment. As I said before, these teams, as in case you did invest before, they were pretty affordable. Udine, the last team to complete. We need a 75 rated squad. Again, 95 chemistry as in all the other challenges. Most of the team is gold, a bunch of silvers in there as well. Doesn't really matter. We get a gold players pack as the final pack, and now we are done. We completed the Calcio A League SBC, and now let's push the X button and we get that Higuain card. 91 rated striker, 25,000 coins on top. What a nice reward that is. Let's put him into the club and then I'll use him later, obviously. But now let's move on to the packs. Definitely the best card I have in my club right now. And I'll be back with that Japanese challenge later. But as you can see, there's a bunch of packs to open. I do have a lot of packs saved up as well for another video. But first, let's open all the gold packs. And I think there's also 1 or 2 silver packs in there from the Calcio A challenge. My transfer pile is more or less empty, so we have a bunch of space to put duplicates on the transfer list. But let's get started with the first premium gold pack, 7.5k pack. Hazard on the pack. What do we get in it? We get a German right mid from Leverkusen. Is there Bellarabi? It is Bellarabi. Obviously a decent pull from a 7.5k pack. And also Emre Can. Definitely a nice player to have in the club for any future squad building challenges. We get Luis Adriano, who we just submitted in the Milan squad. So he changed teams to, is that Moscow? Yes, it is Spartak Moscow. So he did change teams. Let's put all this into the club and put the 2 players that we have on the transfer list. The Portuguese player, I think, is from Nantes, so he will definitely sell as well, given that the Ligue 1 squad building challenge is still ongoing. Next 7.5k pack, this time it's Marco Reus on the pack. No rare reward though, so let's skip that. We get Forsberg from Leipzig and another Bundesliga player, Jairo from Mainz. So let's store that all into the club and let's put that guy on the transfer list and discard the rest. One more 7.5k pack before we move to the bigger and presumably better packs, with obviously the increased chance of pulling a decent player. I would be happy with an 85 plus, let's say 84 plus, so any big player would be nice. Obviously the special cards out there would definitely be nice to have, especially that Agüero International Man of the Match card would obviously be amazing to pull, especially since we already get that nice striker Higuain. He would be the second perfect card today. Nothing too exciting in here. Let's store that all into the club and put that Portuguese player from Stade Rennes onto the transfer list. I'll list them up later. Let's first go through all the packs. Jumbo Premium Gold pack up next. 15k pack, that is. A couple of rare players, no big player though, so nothing too exciting to expect, I think. We get Villa. I think it's the decent pull for any future squad building challenge. We also get Kishna, who just submitted in the Lazio squad, so he must have changed teams as well to Lille, I think that is. It is indeed Lille. Other than that, nothing too exciting in here. Let's check the duplicates. Bunch of non-rare players that we list up later, and we can discard that ball. Next pack we are going to open is another 15k pack, and then there's a bunch of them afterwards, I think, as well. No big flair. Let's see who it is. It's a Brazilian from Sevilla. I think we used him in one of the previous Ganzo. Yes, we used him definitely in one of the hybrid teams and the hybrid challenges that were released a couple of weeks ago. But other than that, nothing worth. We get a bunch of coins and a pack, a contract pack. Could be better, could be worse though. I definitely take contracts. Let's redeem that pack as well. 2 duplicates that we send to the transfer list. The rest we send to the club and discard that America badge. Next up is another Jumbo Premium Gold pack, and then I think we have 2 more of them. Again, no big flair, guys. We get another player from the Mexican League. Hopefully we don't we don't have him yet. Brizuela, Mexican player that we can definitely use in the Guadalajara squad. Let's quickly check the duplicates. Again, only non-rare players that we list up later. Nothing too exciting in this pack. I'm really excited though to try that Higuain card. Not sure how I can link him to into my BPL team as a starter, so I definitely put him on the bench and use him as a substitute later. But definitely excited to try him out later. No rare player in this pack. I think there was a duplicate rare, but none of the non-rare players are rare. We got a bunch of Calcio A players. I think I'll keep them though, just to have another, because now I'm pretty much empty. I don't have any Calcio A players anymore, except basically a handful of remainers that were not used. So I want to fill up my Calcio A part of the team, of the club as again, to be ready for any future squad building challenges. Obviously, if you have duplicates and you don't need them at this point, list them up, because the prices are inflated at the moment. People want to complete this challenge, so the prices did increase, obviously, so you can make a nice amount of coins if you decide to list them. Again, this pack, pretty random pack. Let's list up the duplicates, or put them on the transfer list first and list them up later. Discard the A-bar badge and move on to the last Jumbo Premium Gold pack before we move to the rare packs. There's a bunch of rare packs, there's a bunch of Prime Gold Players packs that I'm pretty excited for. And here we get Pereira from Porto, the Uruguayan right back. Trippier, obviously a decent card to have in the team as well for a bunch of use cases. What is that? Poland. Let's put all this into the club. There was also a midfield position change, which is also nice for squad building challenges, because obviously sometimes you need strikers and midfield, or midfielders and strikers, so you want to be ready to convert them either from top to mid or from midfield to the top. But anyway, now we have a bunch of rare packs to go through. A rare gold pack, rare gold pack, rare gold pack, and then the mega packs, and eventually we come to the... There was also Prime Gold Player. Yes, there are Prime Gold Players packs in here as well. So we have a decent amount of packs to go through and more chances to get any of the amazing cards out there. We get Ter Stegen in this one, 83 rated goalkeeper from Spain. I don't think I have him in the team at the moment, so... Oh, I actually do. So I'll list him up later. Obviously, contracts and the fitness cards are always nice to have. The position change right back to... like position changes between the right back positions, I never use them, so I'll whatever. They are always... I always store them into the club. Let's quickly discard those. I always have them in my club, but I'll never use them, so I have a bunch of them already. Next rare gold pack, 12 items, 12 gold, 12 rare. Let's see what we get in this one. Again, no big flair. As we get Murillo, who I think we just submitted with the Inter squad. Yes, he's now new to the club again. And we also got Jesus. That's pretty decent. Let's see how much he goes for at the moment. I think his price decreased already a little bit after the initial hype. Seems like he goes for around 10k. Not sure if I use him. He has decent pace though, decent dribbling. But again, his shooting and passing are, I think, average for a striker. But obviously nice to have in the club for either using him or using him as a player or using him as a SBC. Again, we got the West Brom badge. I'm pretty sure we had that in the last pack as well, or at least a couple of packs ago. Let's move on to the final rare gold pack and then move on to the mega packs and the prime gold players packs eventually. Italian center mid from Napoli, Jorginho. I think we also used him in the Napoli squad that we just submitted a couple of minutes ago. Let's see what else we get in here. We get one Toulouse player. That is good to have in the club. Let's see how much he goes for. I think the silver players, most of them are price fixed for that team. But how about the gold players? Oh, well. He doesn't go for anything. He goes for discard, basically. But nonetheless, useful in any case. Also, we got two right mid, right forward, right wing position changes, which is also nice to have. If you need 1 or 2 extra chemistry points for these challenges, you definitely need those cards. Next up is a mega pack. 18 rare cards. Hopefully one of the packs with a bigger flair, and no big flair again, guys. As we get Milner here, the center mid from Liverpool. I just want a big flair. Is that too much to ask for, EA? Let's try with the next pack after we've checked that one. A lot of the rare cards are fitness cards, and obviously a lot of the duplicates are also rare. Let's quickly check those. Mascara from Frankfurt, Gonzalez, Barrow, Harnik, and Polacek. We put them all on the transfer list and list them up later, so they will sell definitely. Not for much though, but anyway, better than discarding them. And we have the space on the transfer pile, so it doesn't really matter. Gold Players pack, and then we have some bunch of premium packs afterwards. Not that I'm expect anything from this pack, as there's only one rare card. At least it is a gold one. We get the Mainz Bojan, who just transferred from Stoke, I think, to Mainz in the winter break. Other than that, let's quickly check the leagues. We get a start Rennes player, which is useful for sure. But the rest is just a bunch of random non-rare golds. But anyway, we sell them at some point, so we make a few coins off of those players. In any case, premium gold players pack up next, then we have a bunch of silver packs afterwards, and then the two prime. I think we have 2 prime gold players packs. I would definitely be disappointed as we pull Pirlo in this one to not have a big flare in the prime gold players packs. Pirlo, Traore, and who's that? Riesgo from Eibar, so he will be useful for the challenge, the Spanish one. Zappacosta, we just submitted him in the Torino squad, and the rest is not really worth mentioning, so we'll just put them on the transfer list quickly and then move on. I think we have 2 more, yes, 2 more premium gold packs and then 2 premium silver packs. James Rodriguez on the pack, not in it though, no big flair again, as we get Matip in this one. Liverpool defender, 83 rated player, not too bad, always good to have those medium, and Quaresma as well. Always nice to have these 2 Super League players actually, these 83, 84 rated players in your team. Anything else worth mentioning? Let's check the league. See, we get another French player from the league also, he will be useful for sure. And the rest we just list up. A lot of Italian players here. Weird that we just submitted the entire Italian league, and 3 of our duplicates are from from Calcio A basically. But as I said, we were prepared for that challenge, so we did have a bunch of players. For some teams, even more than 11 players ready. So it is obviously possible to have duplicates already again. Hopefully that store catalog updates soon, so we can open the remaining packs. Yes, 1 more premium gold players pack, then a couple of silvers, and then we have the 2 main event packs basically of this video, the 2 prime gold players packs. We pull Kaka, the legend, the future legend from Orlando, and the other rare players are duplicates. Anything else here that we might need? Second French league, yeah, not really. We have 1 player from Eibar that will be useful eventually. Not sure if I'm going to complete that Suarez squad building challenge, because that Real Madrid challenge and the Barcelona one as well, but especially the Real Madrid one is pretty expensive to complete. I think it is 87 rating that is required. 2 premium silver players packs. A Toulouse player would obviously be amazing in here. Let's see what we get. We get a Zenit player first, Novoseltsev. Any other players that are useful? Let's check the pack. Once it's loaded, we get another player from the Liga Bancomer, so that's definitely a good pull. Another player from Liga Bancomer. Anything else here? No, we got a player from the Japanese league, so we will use him, I think, the Morita from Albrechts Niigata in the Japanese squad building challenge that I'll put up in a little bit after I'm done with this one. And I think it might also be time for another marquee matchups tonight, so there will be a lot of pack openings, guys. Stay tuned and subscribe to the channel if you are interested. Next up, the last silver packs, and then we have the 2 prime gold players packs, plus I think the contract pack was still up there that will open first. As we pull another Zenit player, Molo in this case, another rare silver Zenit player. What a coincidence. What else is in here that we might find useful? Nothing really. Oh well, one of those packs, I guess. But anyway, material is always nice to have in the club, as this is another bronze duplicate that we list up later. And now 1 gold contracts packs. Obviously we all know what's in here, so no reason to expect anything. And now we have the 2 prime gold players packs, guys. I think it's from the Juventus and the Milan challenge, if I'm not mistaken. 12 items, 10 gold, 10 rares, all of them players. So there is indeed an increased chance to pull 1 good player, or at least have a big player. As I said, there are the International Man of the Match cards still out there, with Agüero being the best one. There is a nice Team of the Week out there, with Lewandowski being the best one. But obviously, at this point, I would just settle for a big player. 84 rated plus is all I want at this point. Let's start with the first one. Eden Hazard on the pack. What do we get in it? We don't get a big player. Only one more pack to get one. As we pull Sirigu. I think he transferred. Wasn't he at Monaco at the start of the season? He changed to Osasuna apparently in the winter break. We got another Lyon player that is useful. We got another Monaco player that will be useful. So not too bad. Other than that, pretty weak pack for a prime gold players pack. Let's put this to the club, list up those 3 players. Jesus, we also, I think I used them. Apparently I didn't, for the Roma team. Let's send those 3 to the transfer pile. And now guys, the final pack, James Rodriguez on the pack. Please EA, one big player would be nice. And we do get a big player. Is it Banega? It is Banega. From Inter. We just used him, I think, in the squad. Obviously, he doesn't go for much at the moment. He does go for a little bit more because the challenge is going on. Let's see how much he goes for. Probably, yeah, like well, he doesn't go for anything really. For 3,000 to 4,000 coins by now. I just leave him in the club anyway because I don't have him anymore. We get Tim Howard as well and Jesus again, so that's probably a player that will definitely sell for 7 or 8k. Not too bad. Plus we get another Nantes player and another Nice player that we can use. Pretty decent pack. Obviously the pack opening wasn't that successful in terms of high rated players, but we did fill our clubs with a bunch with a bunch of Calcio A players. We did pull nice players for future squad building challenges. But obviously the big news is we get that SBC Higuain. So stay tuned. I will use him in my squad and I will definitely tell you how he performs. I'm interested to try him out. Let me know how you did it, whether you did this challenge, how you did it, were you prepared, did you have to invest with the hype or in the hype now? And obviously what did you pull from those 20 packs? Hopefully one of these special cards that are out there at the moment. With that said, we're done with this video, guys. I will post the Japanese video in a little bit. I will see you later. Have fun and obviously, hopefully, pull some amazing players, guys. See you in the next video.